Hey everybody, this is Gaynor Meilke from Accounting Ignited and Charisma Inc. And I wanted to welcome you to our annual kickoff of our accounting growth series. So I love to, at the beginning of every year, have some kind of tool or resource for people that they can follow along throughout the year. And this year, 2026, is going to be the year of art, and that's attention restoration therapy. Don't let the name put you off. It's really a series of ways for you to reconnect with what's important to you and your firm, and then also methods to help you actually focus enough to achieve your goals. As we all know, there's a lot going on in the accounting profession, and in order to stay focused on what you need to do to stay either where you are and be content with that, or if you're looking to grow your firm and your team, then you also need to be focused and take adequate breaks and reflect so that you know that you're not going to burn yourself out and that you're following the right path that you've set out for yourself and your firm. So, without going into too much of the science, that's all in the Attention Restoration Therapy for Accountants ebook that I'll link below. I want to just draw your attention to a few things that we've put together to help you. One is over on our Plan C training YouTube, which I'll link below as well. We have a 52 module, very short tips on attention restoration therapy that you can kind of pick and choose from. And if you want to do all of them, there's one for every week, and it goes along with the attention restoration therapy for accountants journal that we have put together as well. So the thing that I love about journals or workbooks is that it actually takes you from your mind into the actual doing. And having the doing in a flow state, something that you're focused on every week, is important because then it's not just something that you think is a good idea, you're actually making the idea work for you and putting it into real life. So, linked below is the journal as well, and you can just use it as a jumping off point. You don't need to complete the whole thing unless you want to, and I would encourage you to do that. But if you want to follow along and do something once a week, it will keep you plugged in to the commitment that you're making to be more focused and be more mindful in your practice in your day-to-day life. Because we all know that what we do in one place, we do in all places in life, even if we're not cognizant of it. So if you can be more attuned, more focused, feel restored, and feel energized, that is going to be helpful in all areas of your life, from your firm to your family. And I think that's super important. So, not to make this video longer than it needs to be, because I want you to be able to take the tools and use them to your advantage as soon as possible. I wanted to just give you sort of my top 10 takeaways from the journal and the attention restoration therapy ideas so that you have a place to start. And even if you only do the 10 things that I'm listing here, I think it will be helpful for you and at least puts you in the right mindset to tackle this next year with a lot more ease and efficiency and empowerment. So, number one is actually taking the time to check in with yourself on a daily basis, at least on a daily basis, as to how you're feeling, what your priorities are, and what areas of progress have you already made, and what areas of growth potential are there? So that's all contained in the ebook and in the journal. And every day, or every week, I should say, for the journal, we have an area where you can write down, the progress that you've made and then where the areas for growth, because that will keep you focused on celebrating the small wins, which is another tactic from attention restoration therapy, and focusing on what's ahead in the short term that will help you get to the longer term. So those are already, 3 or 4 different things that you can do. None of them take very long. So checking in with yourself, acknowledging the progress that you've made, looking ahead to areas of growth, and really making this a practice for yourself, at least on a weekly basis. Maybe it's on a Sunday, maybe it's on a Monday, maybe it's on a Friday. It's kind of like the last thing you do before you transition to, you know, what you need to do outside of your firm. And I think that's a really other important piece of this is creating transition points so that you feel like instead of everything stretching into one big long continuum, you can focus when you're in your firm working, you're in your firm working. When you're with your family, you're with your family. So that's another piece that's in the attention restoration therapy toolkit. And we have that in the journal as well. And then a big one, which I don't think enough of us really pay attention to how powerful it is breathing. And although we all breathe naturally, it keeps us alive, you want to focus on breathing proactively so that you can diffuse stress before it gets you into a place that you don't want to be, or you find yourself so distracted. If you think that you might have attention deficit disorder, something that can be very helpful is learning how to breathe. And you can do it really simply. We have a video over on Plan C training, but I'll just do it briefly here, where you can breathe in for 3 and then out for 3. And do that about 5 times. It only takes about, 30 seconds. And you will, if you do it regularly, see that it does help to quiet the mind, and so that you can feel a little bit less distracted and start one task at a time. I also like to make a list of 3 things I need to do before I move on to the next 3 things, because I find that that really helps me to focus what I'm working on. And it might be, 3 work things, or it could be a work thing, a personal thing, and then another work thing. But like working in threes can be very helpful as well. And then approaching things with curiosity, and that includes yourself. So if you find that you're starting to get agitated and you're feeling like you shouldn't be agitated, instead of kind of having that resistance within yourself that I shouldn't be agitated, think about, why is this making me agitated and why is this triggering me? And that can help to diffuse it. So being curious instead of, being berating yourself or somebody else. It's very helpful to be curious when something goes wrong instead of being catastrophically thinking about it. So curiosity, not catastrophe. And one of the other things that I really think is also underrated is your expression. So if we smile, we're going to feel better automatically. So smile at yourself. Smile at yourself in the mirror, smile at your clients through that Zoom or on the phone sounds really simple, but it can also help you get back into the present moment because you have to think about what you're doing. And so that can refocus your attention and your attitude so that you can be more productive. I think another thing that is very underrated that's in the attention restoration therapy workbook and journal are what acts of kindness we can do each day or once a week so that you're doing something outside of yourself. It might be something in your firm, but then you can also recognize that you stepped out of kind of the melee of your mind to help somebody else intentionally. So I think that's really important, as is some kind of creativity. And creativity can be anything from cooking. It could be a sport that you like that you do, and you kind of have a routine around that. You can be creative with it. Maybe there's a creative way that you present things to your clients, but creativity also releases joy and more fun, which can help you focus on your work because it doesn't feel as much like work. So it may seem like a nice to do, but if you try doing it on a regular basis, you'll find that it kind of feeds itself and it does feed your focus as well. And then taking a break. This is something that's really um, important for attention restoration because if we don't take breaks, we also don't have a beginning and an end to either a task or the workday. Um, and if we don't take breaks, we're going to burn ourselves out. So simple things, but I think the power, at least for me, of the attention restoration therapy idea is that we're going to make it a practice and we're going to be consistent with it. And we're going to find the things that work for us, you know, individually, collectively, as a firm. And then you can practice doing those things. You don't have to do all of the 52 ideas that we have, but I'm sure that you'll find probably at least a dozen of them that you can come back to time and time again that work to help you gain your attention back, restore yourself and your firm's focus, and feel better overall as you reach towards your goals for 2026 and beyond.